Hello, welcome to our VNA broadcast daily, and following are today's headlines.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng receives newly accredited Timor-Leste ambassador. Vietnam boosts cooperation with International Rice Research Institute. Vietnam strives for $1 billion in vegetable exports.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng has said Vietnam always cherishes the multifaceted cooperation with Timor-Leste. He met Timor-Leste Ambassador Georgia Trinidad Neves de Campos in Hanoi on May 8th.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng affirmed that Vietnam always attaches importance to boosting ties with Timor-Leste in economics, trade and investment. He expressed his hope that Timor-Leste creates favorable conditions for both countries' businesses to strengthen trade ties and support Vietnamese investors in the country, particularly those engaging in telecommunication. Dũng noted that Vietnam is always willing to promote rice export to Timor-Leste to ensure the country's food security, while sharing experience and cooperating with the country in developing agricultural production and telecom systems, as well as infrastructure building. The diplomat affirmed that he will do his utmost to foster the two countries' bilateral relations in all fields, particularly in agriculture. He suggested that Vietnam intensify cooperation with Timor-Leste in trade exchange of agricultural products, furniture, garment and textiles, and other necessities. On May 7th, Dũng met with World Bank East Asia and Pacific Regional Vice President Axel van Trossenberg. He said the Vietnamese government will closely cooperate with the bank in disbursing its funding and improving the efficiency of its aid. He said he hopes that the World Bank will continue support for Vietnam's socio-economic and infrastructure development, human resources training, and poverty reduction, while giving more practical and effective policy consultations to the country. The Vice President pledged his bank will always stand side by side with Vietnam, especially in providing policy consultations relating to stabilizing macroeconomy and maintaining growth. The bank is willing to assist Vietnam in accessing capital resources and promoting public-private partnership, as well as in new cooperation areas that Vietnam has demanded, he added.
Vietnam highly values the United States' support for its fight against HIV/AIDS. Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc made the remark while meeting U.S. Global AIDS Coordinator Ambassador Eric Gusby in Hanoi on May 7.
Phúc, who is also head of the National Committee for HIV/AIDS, Drug and Prostitution Prevention and Control, told the guest that Vietnam has approved a national strategy on HIV prevention and control by 2020, while focusing on preventive measures against the disease in the country's key localities. To maintain achievements attained in the field, he suggested the U.S. continue support for Vietnam by providing it with anti-HIV medicines, as well as joining hands with the country in building plans to transfer the assistance programs. Gusby praised Vietnam for its achievements in preventing and fighting AIDS, as well as its activeness in tackling difficulties as foreign aid is more limited. The ambassador affirmed that he will do his utmost to help Vietnam fight this fatal disease. He expressed his hope that Vietnam will continue efforts to fulfill its national strategy on HIV/AIDS prevention and control.
Vietnam and the International Rice Research Institute have inked a memorandum of understanding on technological cooperation to develop Vietnam's rice sector.
The Memorandum of Understanding was signed by Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Cao Đức Phát and the Institute's Director Robert Ziegler in Hanoi on May 7th. Phát said the event marks a new development in the cooperation between the two sides. He said the rice sector is now a key focus for Vietnam. As one of the leading agricultural research establishments in the world, the Institute has given Vietnam remarkable support in rice research and production since 1975. Experts said the institute's rice varieties are cultivated in 60 to 70% of Vietnam's total rice cultivation area.
Vietnam is expected to earn $1 billion from fruit and vegetable exports this year. The goal was set during a congress of the Vietnamese Fruits and Vegetables Association in Ho Chi Minh City on May 7.
During the event, the association put forth its key orientations and tasks in the coming time, striving for Vietnamese fruits and vegetables to be exported to numerous countries. To achieve the goal, participants at the Congress said that businesses should improve their competitiveness and ensure products' quality, as well as food hygiene and safety. The exports of fruits and vegetables rose steadily over the past years, reaching $305 million in 2007, $628 million in 2011, and $829 million last year. However, the association said much remains to be done as investment in the sector remains modest. The purchase for fruits and vegetables for export remains difficult, and few vegetable and fruit planting units obtain the Good Agriculture Practice standard.
An ASEAN regional conference was held on May 7th in Hanoi to discuss ways to accelerate women's rights as outlined in the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women.
Adopted in 1979 by the United Nations General Assembly, the Convention is described as an international bill of rights for women. It defines what constitutes as discrimination against women and creates an agenda for national action to end such discrimination. The Convention has been ratified and implemented by all 10 members of ASEAN, thus protecting the rights of women in the region. During the conference, attendees agreed that at national level, the involvement of women in political system and state agencies has improved, while public awareness of women's rights and the protection of these rights have been raised. However, they noted that the development gap, domestic violence against women and children, and labor and sexual abuse, poverty, and discrimination remain big challenges to pursuing gender equality as improving women's position and children's welfare. They also highlighted achievements, challenges, and good models during the enforcement of the Convention and shared information on women's rights in political life, including those to have nationality, employment, and access to socio-economic benefits included in the Convention.
32 strong teams are brainstorming their best tactics to build a green planet at the final round of the Robocon Vietnam that is underway in Da Nang City.
This year, 32 teams competing in the contest are divided into 8 groups, beating 180 others from 45 universities, colleges, and vocational training schools nationwide. These teams will compete for a trophy and a berth at the Asian Pacific Robot Contest, scheduled for August this year in Vietnam. Apart from being intelligent and creative, participants in this contest must be determined and show their spirit of teamwork in order to gain victory. This year's contest sends out a message of preserving the greens on Earth, promoting the role of each country as well as each individual in building a green world for all. On the sidelines of the competition, there is a Robocon Tech Show which aims to stimulate students to create highly practical high-tech products. Robots of this year are various in type and very flexible in operation. I hope all teams can show all of their real ability in the game. Robocon Vietnam 2013, the 12th of its kind, is co-organized by the Toyota Motors Vietnam and Vietnam Television. It will close on May the 12th. The Vietnam Robocon team ranked 2nd and 3rd at the Asian Pacific Robot Contest 2012 and 2011 respectively.
And that is the end of our news today. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.